Willpower, Rediscovering the Greatest Human Strength by Roy Baumeister and John Tierney. Now, willpower can help you in all aspects of life, and there's popular belief that children with higher levels of willpower do better than children with lower levels of willpower later on in their life. Now, willpower is a thing that you've got, and it gets used up. And it doesn't just get used up and is specific for one thing. So for example, if you're using your willpower at work, or you're using it to overcome the urge to eat something, later that day you may have less willpower left in your tank to resist a completely different temptation. Now, there's some suggestions about how to improve your life. For example, monthly planning as opposed to daily planning, simply because daily planning takes up too much time. And there's others about trying to increase your self-discipline. And there's an association between self-discipline and people who are donating to charity and are generous with their time. And in part, this may be because you need a certain amount of self-control to do that. And then over time, this increases your self-discipline, but the very nature of thinking with others can help. If you're wanting to do something, make a public pledge. So for example, I pledged I would put 50 book reviews out on YouTube in 2021. And I'm just starting that, and I really appreciate the support in this journey. Think about automatic behaviors. Now, these tend to be linked to habits, and whereas a controlled, unusual behavior you're perhaps doing as a one-time thing, automatic behaviors are due to habits. So really, if you can use your self-control to develop good habits and get rid of bad habits, that really is the best way to get your life moving smoothly. Now, another thing is about keeping motivation. That's about getting a higher sense of purpose. And the book suggests actually that religion's good for the higher sense of purpose, in part because you need self-discipline to pray regularly or do other things such as avoiding certain types of food. But also what you're finding is the higher sense of purpose can help you. If you're thinking about thinking, why questions are the ones that really focus you on the higher levels of thinking and on the future. How questions are more lower levels of thinking and taking you really to the present moment. So, there's a few different studies I'll quickly mention. There's a lot here. One was college professors. They found that the people who did their work in sprints, i.e. you've got a deadline or a grant to do, you do it just before, they did worse in terms of publication record and obtaining substantive university jobs than those who developed a habit and did their writing all the time. Another thing was about Alcoholics Anonymous. Now this has got a well-known 12-step program, and the evidence is varied. However, this book does suggest some of the good things, and because it's got regular check-ins, it encourages a mentor, you're taking one day at a time, and you're using positive peer pressure to overcome things. Now, it also had a concept related to Alcoholics Anonymous called warehousing that I hadn't heard of, and that is simply by doing something, you're not doing an undesirable effect. And amusingly to me, people would use that term about schooling. But also thinking about AA, when people tell their story, they're having to plan it out and then they're verbalizing it to others. So that can help develop self-control and willpower. There's a little bit about giving feedback, make it clear and try and provide it instantaneously. Now, when you're thinking about delaying things, there is this urge to some people have to binge. And if they've stopped something, they start it again, they binge, they have a lot of it. Now this book is suggesting that actually, perhaps if you say, I'll have that later, it means when later comes, actually you'll have less than if you thought you had stopped it and then restarted again. Also, finally, to sustain motivation, give yourself frequent rewards for what you're achieving. So please subscribe, respond down below. I'd love to hear your comments, and I shall see you all next time. Bye for now.